Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode number 24 of the Batman on Film Social Hour. This is my show. I am Jett Ramey. This is my little show here on Batman on Film. And with me today is senior BOF contributor Ryan Lauer. Ryan, how you doing? You still geeking out over Long Halloween Part 1 and the fact that we're getting another edition in the comic book world of the Long Halloween?
Yeah, I'm doing great aside from that, Bill, because as soon as I finished watching Part 1, I was ready for that Part 2, but thankfully it was only like a month between, and by the time we're recording right now, we're a week away.
Are they still
a week from right now?
Okay.
I will have seen it.
Are they are they dropping the Blu-ray the same time as digital this time?
No,
it's
it's
the digital
2 weeks
first.
Yep, digital first, and then 2 weeks later is the Blu-ray and DVD.
I knew it was like that, and I didn't know if they had changed the schedule. So
yeah, and a lot of people are wondering too, and they must not have seen when it was first announced that it's going to be released next year as a collected, kind of like, you know, how the Dark Knight Returns did.
I figured they were going to do that.
Collected one movie, and that's coming next year, and that's when the 4K version is coming too. Because I know our boy Pete Vera's waiting for it all to just be one movie to watch it. And I think I keep telling him every day, just suck it up, fool. You need to watch part 1 now.
Yeah. Well, if it comes out on digital, just watch part 1 and then bump it on digital as soon as it's done.
I'm trying. I'm working on him. We'll get
all right. So a little bit of I guess this is Batman family on film news. Is this the best way to put it? Or maybe
I think so.
Batman family on streaming news. Is that an even better way to put it, or no?
No.
Okay.
Bat family on film.
Okay, because they are in the process. I say they, Warner Brothers and the filmmakers of the HBO Max Batgirl movie. Is it going to be a movie straight up, or are they doing a mini series with this on HBO Max?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just like Peacemaker or the Gotham City Police Department, GCPD. They're doing, that's more of a prestige series as opposed to there being movies. I've seen movie thrown around, but with it being on HBO Max, I'm just curious if it's a prestige series or is it just a straight up 2 hour plus movie?
See, I thought that the last report we saw, and I think it was from a trade for sure. And
I've seen them. Yeah, even I'm just curious because Warner Brothers hasn't released anything really,
True. Yeah.
With it, so that's cool. If it's a movie, whatever. If it's a prestige series, whatever as well. So anyway, we're going to get to the casting news. They are casting, and I'll be honest, I don't know any of these young ladies who are up for the role. If you are familiar, please throw in a little bit of biography if you can. But apparently, according to Deadline, it was. Let's see. They are in the casting process, and it includes Isabella Merced, Zoe Deutsch, Leslie Grace, and Haley Lou Richardson. And like I said, I don't know any of those young women, so I can't comment. I can't comment at all.
The most familiar face-wise is Isabella Merced, because she was the face of like the Dora. She was Dora in a live action horror movie that came out a couple years ago. That actually, because it was released. I don't know which of the the other three actresses, Zoe Deutsch, she was kind of a fan favorite on Twitter yesterday. A lot of people have seen her work and really like her, and I'm not familiar with her work, and I don't know which of either her, Leslie Grace, or Haley Lou Richardson were in Into the Heights, a Warner Brothers movie that was just released this summer, and a lot of people really, really liked her in that. I'm unfamiliar with these actresses, but that works well for me for a role like this, because I'm unfamiliar. I don't have them painted as a what do you want to say? They're not typecast or anything yet.
Sure.
You know? I don't see any of these and think, oh yeah, this is this. I don't know. This was this character or something. So it's a fresh face for
It looks also. It looks like they're not worried about ethnicity, because I believe two of the young ladies are of Latin descent, and two are Caucasian, and it doesn't make any difference to me. Whatever. So that may or may not affect who they cast as Jim Gordon, which apparently did a little research. That role is not going to be JJ. Who am I missing here? J.K. Simmons. I'm sorry. I was thinking J.J. Abrams.
I thought you were going to say J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, it's not J. Jonah Jameson. It's played by J.K. Simmons. Nor is it going to be, obviously, it's not going to be Jeffrey Wright from the Batman. And
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Let it be its own thing again.
It looks like, that's what I was going to bring up, Brian. Does it look like to you this is kind of its own little thing, its own little branch of the DC multiverse of media, or whatever medium it is, whether it's film or whatever? It just seems like they're doing something. I don't think it doesn't sound like it's going to be tied to what's quote unquote technically the shared DC on film universe, so, and that's fine with me. I mean, make it,
I look forward to that aspect of it too, because we are getting a continuation of a shared universe with the Gotham series that's going to be on HBO Max. That's going to be related to the Batman. So it's like, if we want a connection, there we go. This can be its own thing, like Margot Robbie said last week, it can just be like a multiverse of content and doesn't need to relate. And I'm completely okay with that. Just let it be good. And I don't really care if it's connected or not. So
it's kind of a maybe a good smart thing if you just worry about making the best film or series as possible, and don't worry about, hey, if it's going to connect, it connects. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll worry about it later. Whatever. We're going to make the best project we can. So that's how you get stuff like Joker and the Batman and the Flash and whatever else they're doing. So I'm not, we'll see who they cast as Gordon. We'll see if it does or if it does not fit within the DC. It just doesn't. It doesn't even matter anymore, really. When you just say a DC project, I mean, it's whatever. Okay, it's a DC project. Let it be good. Who cares? If it connects or not. We don't need to be beating anyone over the head with this is connected. Don't you understand? This is whatever. So. Anything else I was going to bring up? So that seems to be it's getting kind of rolling here. And what's your what's your interest level in this?
I'm very interested in it. They said a Batgirl. Has it been said it's going to be Barbara Gordon? Right?
They said Barbara Gordon. Yeah.
Okay. I just really like the Barbara Gordon character. I think she's a great character, has some really cool inclusion in stories, as well as stories that are her own stories. And I know that this was in the BOF Facebook group talk of like, it may not be made for everyone, but that doesn't mean that anybody necessarily wants it to fail that way. And I think I said it as a comment in there of directly, my niece, some of this DC stuff I'm not necessarily interested in. It's a gateway for her, and she's a superhero fan because of Supergirl show that's on CW and the Flash on CW, and she watches it religiously, and she's a superhero fan because of that. And I'm like, great, I don't need to love it because you do, and it works for you, and that will just keep her interest and introduce more characters. And Stargirl, the same thing for some people, although I love Stargirl, I think it's a great show. But then also nephews watch Teen Titans Go, and I just can't really get into that. But they know Robin, they know Cyborg, they know Beast Boy and Raven. They know these characters because of Teen Titans Go, so it's their gateway. So I don't know the maturity level they're going to strive for with this Batgirl show. Maybe teenish, maybe mature, maybe family oriented. I don't know. But as we've seen directly, I think with Batman and Batman's worlds, can go into almost any genre and hit kind of any age group, and it works. So my interest is definitely there. We'll see once people get cast and once we get a trailer and stuff, then we'll get a vibe of how this show is going to go. But I'll check it out. As soon as it's available, I'll watch it.
I mean, to be honest, I'd really not have a big interest in a Batgirl movie. And like I said in the Facebook group, I said, but I'm not their demographic at all.
What?
You know,
yes, you are,
and I'm
Bill.
not in the age range they're going for. I mean, I would assume. No, I'm assuming here that they're going for a little bit young girl skewed audience, and I would assume also again that it's not going to be like an R-rated Batgirl movie. It's going to be something PG.
That would be surprising.
You know, it's going to be something that's a little bit more adventurous, maybe some more humor, and that's fine. And like it brings up, I'm always, hey, this DC thing may not be for me, but it may be a DC thing for somebody. And if it's it's skewed for younger kids, like those Lego direct to video Lego DC movies they made quite a few of, and there was some Batman stuff that came out recently that were direct to home video that were based on, I want to say based on action figures, some brand of action figure. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it was the Batman Unlimited.
Yeah, and
line.
it was skewed for kids, and that's great. I mean, I would say wasn't the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was that more going for a younger crowd? But
that was for me. That was
directly
directly for
you
me,
grew up
Bill.
with that. You know, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Yeah, it's something that brings people in, brings kids, brings whoever into the world of DC and becomes a fan of that. Another thing, I'm assuming here, there's been talk of Michael Keaton continuing his role as an older Bruce Wayne Batman after The Flash, and that they may do some sort of riff off of The Dark Knight Returns / Batman Beyond. And one of the things I know that was kicked around, apparently, allegedly, was it could be for Batgirl. Batgirl would be the protege, the one he takes in under his wing. But I just don't see. I did the math. It was Texas math though, but I'm not seeing how this Barbara Gordon is the daughter of the Commissioner Gordon, of Keaton's Commissioner Gordon from the Keaton-verse, Burton-verse, whichever way you want to describe it, because they're going for someone in their early 20s, and the late Mr. Pat Hingle, who played Commissioner Gordon in all four of the Burton Schumacher films, would be nearing 100 or getting close to it if he was still with us. So I don't see, and Bruce Wayne is older in The Flash. Bruce Wayne is Michael Keaton is playing a Bruce Wayne Batman that is pretty much his actual age in real life, 70-ish somewhere, late 60s, 70s. So, and the fact they're casting a new Jim Gordon, so they seem it's not going to be Pat Hingle. So I don't see this being part of a Keaton spinoff.
Well, that was I think talked about in the live action DCEU, your favorite term, that Keaton would oversee, and maybe there could be, instead of Terry McGinnis, a Batgirl in that. And if this is its own thing, I don't know that I would see they would also have Keaton in this Batgirl in theaters or theaters
yes.
at the same time. Because that I could see as maybe seeming a little confusing, and I may be like, I don't know the term. I may be like contradicting myself right there, because I always say we can have multiple everything, but to have something on HBO Max called Batgirl, and then Batman is teaching Batgirl on the big screen, and yet it's like, no, it's not related. That could be, I don't know. I don't see that happening. Let Batgirl remain on HBO Max.
I would say that,
successful.
yeah, I would say that would be, if they were going to do that, it would be the same Batgirl, even if it was on HBO Max, and then Keaton would be on the HBO Max thing, but that's clearly not what they're doing. So we'll see what happens if that happens, what happens with Keaton's Batman after the Flash. I know they want to do something with Mr. Keaton, and I know they want to riff off of the aged Batman, getting a successor, protege, whatever. And there's multiple angles they've looked at. I mean, Nightwing, Carrie Kelly, Robin, Terry McGinnis, if you want to pull that character from the Batman Beyond animated TV series. So we'll see. I'd love to see something with Keaton like that.
That'd be cool.
I'd always like to see it. So we'll see what happens with that. But I don't think it's going to be with this Batgirl project.
One note on Batgirl that I'm intrigued is the report that they were apparently casting for a character that's like in his 50s or 60s, and then like a former firefighter or retired firefighter.
Yeah.
In which, in Gotham, if you're thinking about fire, you kind of think Firefly.
Yeah.
And there's definitely, Batgirl has a history with Firefly and Killer Moth, and definitely in the story Batgirl Year One by Chuck Dixon and Scott Beatty. And that's a really, really good story that utilizes the two of them on a respectable level, not like as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. Just, I'm intrigued if that is the route that they would go as a villain, because it's not a very, he's not the Joker or Two-Face or anything, but there's a history there with the characters in the comics. So that could be something cool explored if that's the route they go.
It'd also be interesting to see, Batman, obviously the Batman of this Batgirl world exists, if she's inspired by Batman to become Batgirl, and how much or if at all they mention Batman, it's sometimes it's tricky not to, even with
they'd have to, right? They'd have to, but fun times, right?
Sure. I mean, there's you got, and I'm not a big fan of this show, but I mean, you've got Bruce Wayne on Titans. You've got Bruce Wayne exists somewhere in the Batwoman, the CW world, even though he apparently left Gotham. I'm not a watcher of Batwoman.
I think it might just be Peter Vera yet again. He might be the only one.
So, I mean, you got, Pattinson's coming into Batman. You have the Keaton thing. You've got, Ben Affleck doing his send-off cameo, whatever. So it's just not a big deal, I mean, whatever. Warner Bros. Used to be really, really, really anal about all that stuff. But now it's just like, whatever, do the multiverse. Everything is,
Do you think there's a fear on your part of oversaturation?
Depends on how much straight up Batman you get,
Gotcha.
I mean, if Batman proper was a character in Titans, if Batman proper was a character in Batgirl, then you have Pattinson, then you have the Keaton thing, But on the big screen, I mean, it's going to be the Batman series. It's going to be really be the front and center Batman series that Warner Bros. is hanging their hat on theatrically, and we'll see what happens with Keaton. But they're so different, versions of the character. I think, and I'm not one of those goes, the audience is going to get confused. Audience doesn't really care. The general audience really doesn't care about, well, this connect is who's this? And because, if the movie's good, they see it and they say, yeah, it's good. There's people who went and saw Batman Begins thinking it was a prequel to Batman 89, and said, oh, that movie was awesome. The whole time thinking it was, Christian Bale was playing a version of the Michael Keaton / Val Kilmer / George Clooney version of Batman. So it's just it goes back to making good movies.
Yep.
The movie's good,
movies.
people will show it, people will say it's good, good word of mouth, the movie's a success. So Batgirl is coming. I think, when is it? Got a release date for next year, 2022. I know it's supposed to start filming like toward the end of this year. So I would assume.
I'd assume, yeah.
A lot of assuming
sure.
on this show.
Come on
So
next year.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they just that's a disclaimer. A lot of assuming here, but educated assuming. So probably
It being a straight to HBO Max, from pre-production, production, post-production. I feel like it's got to be smaller scale, and if it's smaller scale, then that shouldn't take so long to. It shouldn't take so long to create.
Yeah.
But yet again, what do I know? I'm not in the business, so I can definitely see the latter half of next year.
Well, we'll cover it on Batman on Film, and well, it's I need to get that batfamilyonfilm.com.
Bat Family on Film. Get that going.
Don't tell anybody before they snatch it.
So how would that be instead of BOF then? What would that be? Batoff? BATOF?
BOF. See.
Because it can't be BOF again.
BOF. Right? BOF.
BOF.
BOF
on film.
BOF. Yeah, BOF on film. One last thing I want to mention before we go is that I seen little chunks of this when it came out a few years ago, but I wasn't a big streaming person. I've just recently, within the last, I'm kind of a dinosaur in this. I've really gotten into streaming stuff the last year and a half, probably. Mm-hmm. And I came across that Batman and Bill documentary on Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And like I said, I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I know the story. You know, we followed it on Batman on Film and covered it. And I got to say, it really hit me right in my Batman heart, that thing. To think that, to see that man, Bill Finger, who's basically responsible for everything that it's Batman we have today, finally get credit on the big screen, in the comic books, animation, as being the co-creator of Batman. And this character, which, Ryan, is just, I don't know a time in my life that I wasn't a fan of Batman or didn't love Batman. And Batman to me was more than just this fictional character in the comic books. I grew up raised by a single mother and had a lot of time alone as a kid because my mom worked and stuff. And Batman was a big brother. Batman was a father figure. Batman was influenced me morally, which is strange. I don't know if that's strange to say for a fictional character. And I look back and think, I don't know where I would be or what I would have done if I hadn't come across that character and fell in love with it. So I thank Bill Finger for that. And it's just this guy who's would be over 100 now, and years before I was born created this character that had such a big impact on my life as a child, and it's still today. I have a website called Batman on Film, and I'm here talking to you and everyone else listening about Batman to this day. And I'm almost 56 years old. So I just want to say I watched that. It really struck me hard.
There's a lot of there's a lot of sadness in that. There's also a lot of a triumphant moment is definitely whatever anyone's, which we know within Batman on Film, it's such the wide spectrum of feelings on Batman versus Superman between between you, the contributors, and the fans of the site. But I think it's universally praised, especially in that moment when they captured the guy, as he got to see created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger. Finally, like that finally made it in credits of a movie that he's got his name up there, and it's like, we'll take it. That's a win finally. The part that always stands out to me in that documentary is their telling of his passing. Like that's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. You know, they thought that he had died alone, which he died. He did die alone in his apartment. He lived by himself, but that he had no one that claimed him, and he was buried in a pauper's grave somewhere, unmarked. And to find out that his son had his ashes and took it to the beach, drew the bat symbol in the sand, put the ashes within the bat symbol, and let the tide come in and wash it away, was really,
it's like, oh poignant. My God.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets you. Yeah. I'm glad you found that, because I know that there's probably a lot of facts in that documentary that are, written in books elsewhere, and it's based on a book itself too.
Yes, Mark Tyler Nobleman is the author, and he's prominent in the documentary. So is friend of Batman on Film, the great Michael Uslan.
Mr. U.
Yes.
But as we all know, when you put something, you really do hit a lot more people with something visually than through a book. So I'm definitely glad that it got made, because it helped expose the story and show people a lot of a guy who's not necessarily forgotten. It's just like not enough people know him. So cheers to that documentary.
I got you. Okay, plug whatever you would like. I just had to get that in there.
Sure.
My wife looked at me, and I was just like, and she's like, "What's wrong?" I was just like, it just
Don't
really
look at
hit me.
Don't look at me.
Yes,
okay, let me have my moment.
And I just it's flashed and through my mind this whole life I've had where Batman's been part of it, and it's because of this man.
Yeah.
And now this man's getting credit, and the man did kind of have. He didn't die without someone standing up for him, and people fought for his legacy, and now he lives on through Batman. Yeah, I'm gonna get rolling here again on this. So go ahead, plug.
At least we're not talking about food and weather, right?
Yes.
So
here we go. Now.
Boy, here we go.
Okay, yeah.
I can thank Bill Finger for the. He's the reason I have my own podcast called the Batman Book Club. Then. Available wherever you get podcasts. The most recent episode is covering the dark story, The Cult. The episode before that is somebody that Bill, pretty well, Michael Ramey, on to talk about Batman Ego. Those are two most recent episodes. A blast to record. More in the pipe coming up. Yeah, I'm really excited about. So you can follow that on Twitter at the Batman BC. You can follow me on Twitter at Lauer_Ryan. And
I just got to say that y'all's discussion about what might be in the Batman from the Ego was really good. It was great.
I'm good. No, I credit him. He was on it. He had notes.
Yeah.
So and he had the great quote where he didn't realize that he said it, and he was just saying, "But when you know, you know."
Yeah.
And then that became a nice, fun running joke throughout the rest. But also check out all my posts on Batman on Film proper, reviews, written interview with Lee Bermejo, mine and Bill's interview with the one and only Tim Sheridan, which is fantastic, as well as my not only Pride and Joy, the Lego Batman cowl review, which is great, and then also my review on the Batwing lamp. Two things. I never thought I'd write reviews on a Lego set and a Batwing lamp, but here I am. So thanks, Bill.
There's a 60s Cal Lego thing coming.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting it. You're getting it. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, I'm getting it. What the hell are you talking about?
Well,
yes.
How long did it take you to put together? Because I know you did it with your son. How long did that? You know what?
It took a little while, and then his girlfriend. This is not Micah. This is Jake, my youngest son. His girlfriend came up. This was okay. She goes to Texas Tech, so she was going back to her hometown. So she stayed here a week with us, and she's a Lego super fan.
All right.
So she saw it sitting on the table in the kitchen area, like half done and with pieces everywhere. The next thing I know, it's
She's on it.
finished. Yeah.
All
and
right.
yeah. So she finished it. I give her credit for that. So
Excellent.
yeah, and it's right. Can't see it, but it's back over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Back over there.
Right behind
And
Dak Prescott.
It is an Elvis.
And Elvis, and the King.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to. I'll be getting that 60s cal, 66 Batman 66 cal, Adam West for sure. All right. Anything else? Plug-in.
I think that's it.
Okay. And okay, for me, real quick, follow me on Twitter. This is just me in general at Batman on Film. Follow me if you just want the news feed, just links to Batman on Film stuff, whether I do it, Ryan does it, whoever does it. That's at the Batman on Film. Become a Batman on Film patron at patreon.com/Batman on Film. Follow all the shows, Ryan's show and several others, all the, the Social Hour, BOF podcast on the Batman Podcast Network.com and on Twitter at BatPod Network. And thanks to senior BOF contributor Ron Haas for being the curator of that particular Twitter feed. I got a couple new shirts over at TeePublic. If you want to represent Batman on Film, teepublic.com/Batman on Film. And I think I'm gonna have a new tagline. You seen my new tagline? I'm kicking around.
Well, just to no, I
think,
have.
Okay, I do have authoritative, definitive, the daggum original. I'm thinking about going Batman on Film. Opinionated, abrasive, no F's left to give.
Oh, snap!
How do you like that?
Bring it on.
Okay.
Is that how do you deliver that? Because you always got the dadgum original, and then you used to do Baba Booey to you all.
I would say.
And now, how would you say?
And no F's left to effing give. How about that?
Oh, snap! That's intimidating.
Yeah.
You got to do that though. I can't do that.
So, with that, I am Bill for Ryan. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time. And Baba Booey to you all.
Thanks for listening to the Batman on Film Social Hour, Jett's official BOF podcast and vlog. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film. For BOF news only on Twitter, follow at the Batman on Film. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original Batman on Film.